On the bustling streets of Manila, Miguel Santos, a thin boy with messy hair and bright hopeful eyes, stood with his old microphone and a borrowed speaker, singing his heart out for strangers. The sound of jeepneys honking, vendors shouting, and the chatter of people filled the air, but when Miguel's voice rose, everything seemed to pause. His song carried a raw emotion, a blend of longing and hope that made busy workers stop in their tracks and street children gather around him. Coins clinked in his small tin can, not nearly enough to fill a stomach, but more than that, people gave him smiles, nods, and sometimes applause. Miguel sang not just for money but for survival and a dream too big for the narrow alleys he called home. Behind him, his grandmother, Lola Maria, watched with pride and worry. She knew her grandson was special, that his voice could open doors far beyond these crowded streets, but life had always been unfair. As the golden light of sunset touched the skyline, Miguel closed his eyes and imagined a stage far away, where bright spotlights shone just for him and an audience roared with joy. For a moment, he wasn't a street boy singing for coins, he was a star, pouring his soul into every note. Passers-by whispered to one another, "This boy is different." Some recorded him on their phones, unknowingly capturing the first sparks of a story that would soon inspire millions. In the middle of Manila's chaos, Miguel's voice became a beacon of hope, carrying a promise to himself and to his Lola that one day, the world would listen, and when that day came, the streets of Manila would proudly say they raised him. After weeks of singing on the streets, Miguel found himself on a long ferry ride to Cebu City, his small backpack resting on his lap and his heart beating with both fear and excitement. He had heard about a local singing competition there, and though he had almost nothing, no proper clothes, no money for hotels, he carried the one gift that made him believe, his voice. When he arrived in Cebu, the vibrant city greeted him with its bustling markets, colorful jeepneys, and warm smiles. But amid the crowd, Miguel felt small, like just another face lost in the city. That changed when he met Ana Rivera, a local music teacher who happened to hear him practicing alone near the port. Drawn by his voice, Ana approached and asked where he learned to sing. Miguel shyly explained that he had never had lessons, only sang on Manila's streets to survive. Ana saw something extraordinary in him and decided to help. For days, she guided him with breathing exercises, stage presence tips, and the confidence to own his gift. When the night of the contest arrived, Miguel stood nervously backstage, clutching the microphone with sweaty hands. The stage lights were blinding, but as he stepped forward and began to sing, his nerves melted into the melody. His powerful yet tender voice filled the hall, silencing the crowd and leaving the judges wide-eyed. By the final note, the entire audience erupted in applause, and Miguel bowed, tears streaming down his face. Winning the contest was more than a trophy, it was proof that his dream wasn't just fantasy. In Cebu City, Miguel's journey took its first true step forward, and word of his remarkable performance began spreading, carrying him closer to a destiny far greater than he had ever imagined. Back in his small rented room after the contest in Cebu, Miguel could hardly believe what had just happened. The trophy sat on the wooden table, glinting faintly under the dim light bulb, a symbol that his voice truly mattered. Yet he knew this was just the beginning. Days later, while sitting in a humble cafe, he received a call that would change his life forever. On the other end was a scout from Davao City, who had heard about his stunning performance. The scout explained that international talent recruiters were searching for raw, powerful voices, and Miguel's name was now on their list. His hands trembled as he clutched the phone, his heart pounding louder than ever. He immediately ran outside to tell his best friend, Ramon Cruz, who worked at a nearby repair shop. Out of breath, Miguel shouted, "Ramon, they want me. They really want me to audition for America's Got Talent." Ramon stared at him wide-eyed before pulling him into a tight embrace, laughing and crying at the same time. "Bro, from the streets of Manila to AGT? This is crazy." News spread quickly through their neighborhood, and soon neighbors gathered, clapping Miguel on the back, calling him their pride, their hope. Even children who once sang beside him on the streets beamed with joy, chanting his name. That night, Miguel sat with Lola Maria, who silently wiped her tears, whispering prayers of gratitude. He promised her, "Lola, I'll carry our story with me. This chance, it's for us, for everyone who believed." In that quiet moment, the dream that once lived only in his imagination now had a real path, stretching from Davao all the way to the grand stage of Los Angeles. Miguel was no longer just surviving, he was on the edge of history. The day finally came when Miguel stood backstage at America's Got Talent in Los Angeles, his heart racing as the booming crowd filled the arena. He had never seen lights so bright, nor heard applause so thunderous, and for a moment, fear almost swallowed him whole. Dressed in a simple white shirt and black pants that Anna had helped him choose, he clutched the microphone like it was his lifeline. When the announcer called his name, Miguel stepped onto the massive stage, squinting under the dazzling spotlights. The judges, Simon, Heidi, Howie, and Sophia, watched curiously, their faces unreadable. Simon leaned forward, asking in his sharp tone, "What's your name, and where are you from?" Miguel's voice trembled as he replied, "My name is Miguel Santos, and I come from the streets of Manila, Philippines." The audience murmured in surprise, and the judges nodded, intrigued. Then the music began. At first, his voice shook with nerves, but soon, the raw emotion that carried him through Manila's alleys and Cebu's contests broke free. His notes soared, powerful yet tender, each word telling a story of struggle, hope, and resilience. The crowd grew silent, mesmerized, some wiping tears from their eyes. Halfway through, his voice cracked slightly with emotion, but instead of breaking him, it made his performance even more real, more human. By the final note, the arena erupted in thunderous applause, people rising to their feet in a standing ovation. Then, without hesitation, one judge slammed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti rained down, sparkling against the lights as Miguel dropped to his knees, overwhelmed, tears streaming down his face. In that instant, the boy from Manila's streets had become a global star, his dream turning into reality before millions of eyes. When Miguel returned to the Philippines after his life-changing moment on America's Got Talent, the atmosphere was electric. As his plane landed, crowds had already gathered in Quezon City, waving banners with his name written in bold letters, "Welcome home, Miguel." Jeepneys were decorated with streamers, and children danced in the streets, singing bits of the songs he had performed on stage. For the first time, the boy who once sang for coins on Manila's sidewalks was being welcomed as a hero. As he stepped out of the airport, he spotted Lola Maria waiting, tears flowing freely as she embraced him. "Anak," she whispered, "you carried us all with your voice." Miguel clutched her tightly, the weight of his journey crashing down in that tender moment. Soon after, a homecoming concert was arranged at the Quezon Memorial Circle, where thousands of Filipinos gathered to celebrate his victory. Standing on stage, Miguel looked out at the sea of faces, students, workers, families, even street kids like he once was, and felt a surge of pride. He spoke softly into the microphone, his voice steady despite the emotion. "This golden buzzer is not just mine. It belongs to every Filipino child who dares to dream, no matter how hard life gets." The crowd erupted in cheers, waving flags and chanting his name. That night, under the stars of Quezon City, Miguel sang once more, not for survival this time, but for joy, unity, and inspiration. His voice rose into the night sky, echoing through the city like a promise. He was no longer just Miguel, the boy from the streets of Manila. He had become a symbol of hope, proof that dreams born in the humblest places could shine on the world's brightest stages.